Joe Saba is in studio. He's the assistant district attorney and has announced his candidacy to run for Utica City Court judge. Joe, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me this morning.
You know where the Easter stuff is stored, right? You got to pull the stuff out and...
Absolutely. We know where everything is. Although I do worry about my wife shutting the light off on me while I'm downstairs.
Right, you get down there and you're, I for some reason I just couldn't get out of there. They've fallen all over top of me. I have cushions and it was crazy. What are you going to do?
I bet you didn't think that would be your first question about candidacy.
I sort of had a feeing that...
Easter baskets.
Easter baskets, yes.
Yeah. So why would you like to... So you'd be moving from the DA's office over into a judge position. What are your reasons? Why do you think they should vote for you?
Well, experience matters. I've had 21 years in the district attorney's office. I've tried everything to verdict, from traffic tickets all the way up through murders. I understand the process. I'm fair, but compassionate. I understand. I started in city court. I know the process down there. I've supervised young assistant district attorneys down there, and the city can't afford a long learning curve. You need somebody that can hit the ground running on day one.
Busy court.
Very busy court. 80% of what's handled down there are traffic and criminal matters, and the other 19 or 20% are civil matters. But it is a very, very busy court.
Yeah, and on those traffic matters, I've been in a few of those in my day. It's a challenge because no one ever does anything wrong, and it's your role to kind of come up with a solution. Working, I'm assuming, with the DA's office. I'm assuming you probably spend time dealing with that stuff right now.
Yes, with regards to the traffic, especially in night court, you hear, well, I wasn't speeding, and then you look down at the ticket, and they're charged with 66 and a 40. So what you do is you look at their record, and you try to work something out with them.
I would like to we'll give you a chance to be judge for a second. Prior to the election, do you want to share your story?
Which one?
Because the one where you decided you were going to fight the ticket.
Okay. Well, my head nod was acknowledging this was probably your ticket, a 66 and a 40. But I had gotten a ticket on the thruway. I was told, and I had some experience with this, that if a state trooper gives you a ticket, that there's a state law that says the trooper can't plead it down. So basically, if he doesn't show up for a trial, they have to dismiss the ticket. Now, I was successful one time, and the judge said to me, in light of something and to protect your interest as a citizen, we're going to dismiss the case. And I had to drive out to Kingston and... Long drive. No ticket.
You might want to keep the municipalities involved.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't.
So you made the
I got on the thruway again. And I drove. But anyway, I'd gotten a ticket elsewhere, and I was actually doing something very nice when I got the ticket, aside from speeding.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, I had to go down there 3 times in this whole process. And then I found out later that every county handles it differently or has the ability to handle it differently.
Can you talk a little bit about that, what the process is? Can you? Because you would. I mean, I'm sure you see that all the time. If the police officer isn't there, what happens?
Well, if we schedule it for a trial and the police officer isn't there, a couple things may happen. One, we could ask for an adjournment to reschedule it and to have that trial. Or 2, we could try to work something out with the individual. Or 3, it could be dismissed.
Yeah.
And all 3 things have happened in my career. It depends on the circumstances.
Right.
And honestly, how many times the person has come back to court. You can only inconvenience a person so many times.
Correct, yeah. And then you get the people like I was when I was 18, thinking that I've watched enough
Matlock
on TV, and I'm going to
Keeler is.
I'm going to try my own case because there was no due process, and that always seems to. It certainly didn't go well for me.
You even bought the white suit too, I think.
Yes, I think I might have. Yeah. What else happens in city court? Other things that you will face beyond the ticket stuff?
Well, there are jury trials down there. There are also small claims, landlord-tenant. There are also preliminary hearings or felony exams. If somebody's charged with a felony, we have 144 hours, especially if they're in custody, to conduct a hearing. And I've done countless numbers of those. And those are up through and including murders. It's a court of first impression, so murders are arraigned down there, and I've handled a number of murder cases and murder felony exams. So you have to know the law. You have to know the process. You have to know what probable cause is.
And this is something moving from the DA's office. Some would say, why would you move from the DA's office? This is a pretty important position.
Very important position. Yep. That's why I want to do it. My experience translates well. The people of the city of Utica need somebody with experience, and I believe that person is me.
All right. Anything else? So we've
well, let me just for a point of clarification.
Okay.
If I happen to be in a city or a municipality, I was told every county does it differently, and I got a ticket from a state trooper, let's say, and he didn't show up, would it be dismissed?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
The judge could reschedule it for another date.
Okay.
You could move to dismiss it, but it's wholly up to the court to whether or not to dismiss it or reschedule it.
Okay. And this wasn't me. Just one other quick ticket story. I was in a local town court, and you said you wanted to fight it on your own as your attorney.
I was 18.
So,
by the way, my advice to him was take the deal. Don't make the trip. Take the deal, and you chose to take the trip. So.
I made the trip, and ultimately I had to settle for the deal. So this local court, though, he was a young guy, probably 18 or 20, and the officer was there, and he's kind of, he's playing the attorney. So the trooper gets on the stand, and he says, how do you know you didn't have a taser gun, not a taser gun, excuse me, a speed gun?
Right.
How did you know? So he wants to do a demonstration to go out to the trunk of his car and get a basketball, roll it across the courtroom floor, and see how close the trooper can get to guessing the speed. And the judge went, sir, this is over. You can plead guilty or you can plead not guilty. And he banged the gavel, and that was the end of that.
See, I'm working in your position or as a judge, you see these cases where people come in and they've seen enough on TV where they think they're going to crack a case.
Absolutely. And you hear the same excuses.
Yeah.
The need to use a bathroom, especially on the phone. Oh, the phone just rang. I have an earpiece. I just picked it up. It's the same excuses. But by the same token, you want to work with individuals also when they receive tickets.
And that is the greatest experience when you go into a situation like that and you come across a judge who's really looking to help and not necessarily, your job is not to make people's lives difficult. You're there to resolve a problem, especially in those cases. Obviously, when you get up into the criminal matters, things become a little different.
That's true. Absolutely. You're there to be fair and impartial, which I am, and to judge it on the facts of the case. But you're also not there to put the hammer down on every individual.
Joe Saba, best of luck.
Thank you.
It's going to be an interest. Your year will be quite long as you head towards this, I assume. So.
Yes. Thank you for having me on this morning.